I think we've actually had to double down on getting closer to the business, ironically, because I think if you look at the history of the CIO role, it kind of came up and came through the back office of the company, right? Whether that is ERP or financial processes that were in the early 2000s. Obviously, we spent quite a bit of time on apps and digital marketplaces, but I think what really has changed over the last 5 years is it's become this thing that was a way to sort of manage cost and create productivity inside of a company. And it's sort of transcended to be a competitive differentiator. And obviously, when you do that, it requires that the technology agenda become much more laden with the specific context of the company itself. Whereas if you're just trying to sort of automate the order to cash process, probably doesn't matter if you're selling shoes or you're selling snow tires. The supply chain process, the order to cash process will be pretty similar. And so if you really understand SAP and you really know how those processes work, you can do a reasonably good job in helping the company unlock value. But when you really start looking at how companies compete and how they price and how they market themselves, it's a very, very different, much more contextually nuanced sort of thing. So I think we've had to double down on really understanding like what value the company creates to its customers. That is, I think, quite a different task. And I've sort of reflected over the last 10 years that maybe 10 years ago, I felt my job was to convince executive teams that IT mattered. And now I feel like I'm in the other end of the spectrum where I'm having to temper expectations that it's not a magic silver bullet. That usually any big transformation initiative is some intersection of technology, people, and process. It's not just implementing software and that's going to allow you to magically serve your customers better. So it's been really quite an interesting flip to see that there was an under-enthusiasm and under-appreciation for technology maybe 10 years ago. And now there's probably a bit of an irrational exuberance around how technology alone can be a magic bullet to a lot of the problems that companies have.